So my kids and I rewatched Encanto the other day. Anybody seen that movie? Yeah, you guys seen here? In here? Anybody? Yeah. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Encanto, it's a Disney movie about a superpowered family living in an enchanted Colombian home. And throughout the film, the protagonist, Mirabel, the only member of her family with no superpower or gift, as they call it in the movie, watches longingly as her mother, her aunt, her sisters, her cousins earn the love of the nearby villagers and the approval of their grandmother, Abuela, by using their gifts to help the local community. And what's worse for Mirabel, no one in her family really tries to understand that Mirabel desperately wants to feel just as significant, just as important as her superpowered relatives. So even though she's surrounded by family that love her, Mirabel feels completely alone. And, as Mirabel soon discovers, she isn't the only one who feels that way. Weighed down by the extraordinary expectations placed upon them, everyone in Mirabel's family feels misunderstood, unseen, and unnoticed. Even their magical home, which falls apart under the stress. And according to our Torah portion this week, there might be nothing worse than that feeling of loneliness that everyone in Mirabel's family experiences. Our Parsha, Parshat Bo, describes the three final plagues that God sends upon Egypt, including the ninth, the plague of Choshech, of darkness. And this is what the Torah has to say about the plague of darkness. Moses held out his arm toward the sky, and a thick darkness appeared throughout the land of Egypt for 3 days. People couldn't see one another. No one budged. But the Israelites, they could see light in all of their dwellings. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I always wondered how darkness made the cut. I mean, honestly, the rest of the 10 plagues are pretty scary. Rivers turn to blood, lice in everybody's hair, locusts blackening the skies to descend on your garden. I mean, all scary things. But 3 days of darkness? I mean, what's so scary about that? According to one sage, the ninth plague wasn't darkness at all. It's what the darkness does to the Egyptians. For 3 days, no one can see anyone else, and no one moves. For 3 days, every Egyptian is utterly alone, unnoticed, unacknowledged, unseen, and no one makes a move to try and see one another. And that might just make darkness the scariest plague of all. Thankfully, we don't have to experience the same fate as the Egyptians. Yes, there will be times in our lives when it seems like no one gets us or understands what we're going through. That ever happened to you? Yeah. Parents just don't understand, do they? I get it. But we don't have to sit unmoving in the darkness like the Egyptians. Like the Israelites, we can enjoy light, but only if we reach out with a light of our own and teach others how to shine a light too. That's what Mirabel does in Encanto. By setting aside her expectations and her judgments, by listening with an open mind and devoting her time and energy to understanding first her sisters, then her cousins, her uncle, even her grandmother, Mirabel shines a light on everybody's feelings, and they shine it back. No longer alone, they come together as a family to see one another, and in so doing, they rebuild their broken home. On this Shabbat, we remember to share our light with one another, to reach out even when it feels like we want someone to reach out to us, so that none of us need sit in the darkness again. Shabbat Shalom.